The most coveted place by all-powerful beings in the Han's universe is a planet that can elevate individuals to God through the Last Gate. The Last Gate presents an ordeal where one must survive several 100 billion volts of exposure, a test that only God-level beings can pass. Raid is the strongest master who rules the Hans. He had reached the final gate, and if he passed this test, he would become a god and rule. Anuth, the deputy master, observed Ray taking the test and saw his vulnerability. Anuth quietly approached, thinking, now he is at his weakest point. Seizing the opportunity, Anuth stabbed Ray in the heart. He believed that by defeating Ray, he would become the strongest in Hans. Ray, who was badly injured, knelt down and asked, how did you get here? Anuth replied, you didn't expect me. Why didn't you consider that I might betray you? Ray, shocked and feeling betrayed, asked, why are you doing this? I trusted you. Isn't the deputy teacher position enough? Why betray me? Anuth strangled Ray and sneered, you only became strong because of the core soul, not because of your own abilities. It's a joke for trash like you to pretend to be a master until the end. With that, Anuth plunged his hand into Ray's chest and said, don't worry and just die. The Hans will take good care of this body, and extracted Ray's soul core, overjoyed at finally becoming a Hans master. On the verge of death, Ray swore, just wait. You will regret this. I'll make sure of it. Lightning from the gate struck Ray's body, and although he was almost a god, he felt a deep sense of betrayal. With a voice full of emotion, he declared, I will never forgive him. Anuth, I will destroy you. Suddenly, Ray woke up in a classroom, lying on the floor with a cut on his cheek. Dazed and confused, he wondered why he was still alive. 3 antagonistic figures stood before him. The one right in front of Ray taunted, Kang Tao-wook, you're a weakling. I only hit you once, and you fainted right away. Clutching his shirt, the man continued, hey Kang Tao-wook, why are you complaining? If you want to die, I'll be ready to help you any time. Another student muttered, is he bullying Kang Tao-wook again? How many times has it been? If he's weak, why provoke Shu Hee-sung? The man who hugged Kang Tao-wook was Shu Hee-sung. Hearing the student's comments, Shu Hee-sung punched Kang Tao-wook. But this time, Kang Ta withstood the punch and replied, what are you saying? Who are you to appear in front of me? He then broke Shu Hee-sung's hand and slapped him hard, sending him flying to the end of the classroom. All the students in the class were stunned. Did Kang Tao-wook really just throw Shu Hee-sung? Was this for real? He had knocked Shu Hee-sung down with one punch. Everyone was confused, knowing Tao-wook's weak reputation. Behind him, one of his friends, battered and bruised, urged him, Tao-wook, apologize to Shu Hee-sung, or you'll be in big trouble. Tae-wook recognized the friend as Jae-dong. He looks around thinking, this looks like the high school I attended on Earth. Can I go back to my high school days? Memories flooded back his father's sudden death, the destruction of his family, and the relentless bullying he endured at school. Fortunately, he had embarked on the path of training and eventually became Master Hans. Without that twist of fate, he would have remained a loser. In this world, all humans are born with inherent powers, but only a few become practitioners. These powers are known as mana, aura, and internal force. Over time, the training system on Earth was divided into 2 branches, medical techniques and martial arts techniques. The practitioners are known as doctors and martial artists respectively. They were categorized by their elemental affinity water, fire, and lightning, and ranked from 1 star to 12 stars based on their abilities. The training path is grueling and promotion is difficult. Tae-wook was unsure if his success was due to his core soul, but he had mastered medicine and martial arts, achieved the highest honors, and stood before the Last Gate to become a god. Although Anna thwarted his attempt at the Last Gate, Tae-wook was determined to fight to become a god once again. Tae-wook tried to sense his aura, but it was not there, and his soul core was sealed. He knew that he had to quickly recover his energy and unseal his soul core. Determined, he plans to uncover the secret of his father's death and avenge the betrayal that almost defeated him. He vowed to truly become a god and punish Anuth. Shu Hee-sung, the tormentor from his past, struggled to stand. Tae-wook reached out to Jae-dong, reassuring him, take it easy. There's nothing to worry about. This is perfect for warming up. Then he turned towards Shu Hee-sung, clenching his fists. How long are you going to keep quiet? Don't you want to spew more nonsense? Frightened, Shu Hee-sung told Tae-wook to get out of the way. Tae-wook mocked, why are you scared? Show me what a bully has. Shu Hee-sung orders his men to immediately take out Kang Tao-wook. Tae-wook was glad that they attacked all at once, saving him the trouble of approaching them one by one. Despite their orders, they hesitate, afraid to face Tae-wook. Frustrated by their hesitation, Chu Hee-sung orders them to attack. Finally, 3 of them charged at Tae-wook with a chair, shouting, "Ah, shit." They fight, but Tae-wook easily beats all 3 of them, so it's hardly worth calling a fight. Seeing his men getting beaten up, Chu Hee-sung immediately apologized to Tae-wook, offering to do anything if Tae-wook would let him go. Tae-wook smirked, "Oh really? Then, why don't you clean my shoes, like you always do with others?" Without hesitation, Chu Hee-sung complied, unable to resist. After his shoes were cleaned, Tae-wook issued a warning. "I'll leave it alone for now, but if you try again, be prepared." The frightened Chu Hee-sung stammered, "Of course. It will never happen again." "Good, now go," Tae-wook ordered, kicking Chu Hee-sung backwards. The other students were terrified, witnessing Tae-wook's new power. They were afraid he would take revenge on them for underestimating him. Just then, the classroom door opens and Choi Jae-yeon, the most popular girl in school, walks in. Seeing Tae-wook's hurt face, she immediately became angry. "Chu Hee-sung, didn't I tell you that if you bully Tae-wook again, I'll report you to the principal? Do you want your parents to be called?" Surprised, Choi Jae-yeon saw Chu Hee-sung struggling to stand up. Chu Hee-sung defends himself. "Who's being bullied here?" Tae-wook quickly pretended to be in pain, and a scared-looking Chu Hee-sung confessed, "Yes, it was my fault. I did something bad and won't do it again." His subordinate carried Chu Hee-sung out of the classroom. Choi Jae-yeon approaches Tae-wook, offering him her handkerchief. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine," Tae-wook replied, realizing how kind Choi Jae-yeon was. "Are you sure you don't need to go to the nurse's office?" she asked again. "Take it easy, I'm fine," Tae-wook assured her. They shared a brief, intense look before the class bell rang. Choi Jae-yeon urges Tae-wook to sit down immediately as the teacher is coming soon. Tae-wook rushes to his seat, only to find his book torn up, most likely by Chu Hee-sung and his gang. He thinks that it was a stupid act. Jae-dong offered his book, asking, "Since when did you get so good at fighting?" "That's a big change overnight." "Thank you. No one will bother you from now on, so don't worry," Tae-wook replied. The teacher, Tae-wook's homeroom teacher, who was known to side with bullies, stormed into the classroom and shouted, "Hey, Tae-wook! How dare you fight in class? Come here right now." Tae-wook complied, deciding not to get into any more trouble since he had just returned to the past. Tae-wook was taken out of class by his homeroom teacher and scolded. He was threatened with expulsion if he got into trouble again. Tae-wook sighed, thinking, "I failed the last exam at Hans and lost all clues about my father." He remembered his past. After his father died, his mother took him to the segging area to hide. There he heard about the exam road. Enduring much suffering, he climbed to the top and found his way to Hans. As a master, he found a clue to his father's death, a glowing orb with energy like his father. But before he could learn more, Anat's betrayal destroyed everything. Tae-wook vowed to find the person behind his father's death and become stronger as soon as possible. As he walks in the schoolyard, he sees a group led by Hye Tae-yong, a 4-star medical arts trainee. Tae-wook was reminded of the man from the He family. In the past, his father had a good relationship with the Jong-ok and arranged Tae-wook's engagement to Yeon-jae. After his father's death, the He family canceled the engagement. Hye Tae-yong forced Tae-wook to sign the dissolution letter, even though Tae-wook and Yeon-jae still liked each other. To save face, the He family humiliated Tae-wook in public. Hye Tae-yong insults him by saying, "How dare someone like you dream of being with a lady of the family?" He then ordered his subordinates to beat up Tae-wook, making him a laughingstock. Now, Tae-wook declares, "This time, I'm no longer the oppressed person I used to be." Hye Tae-yong, who sees Tae-wook, orders his subordinates to arrest him, planning to beat him so hard that he will never talk about marriage again. Tae-wook stepped forward and said, "Who wants to beat me up? I thought I'd save you the trouble of finding me." Hye Tae-yong mocked. Has Tae-wook lost control out of fear? "Hey guys, let's teach him a lesson." They surrounded Tae-wook, and the other curious students wondered, "What's going on?" One explained that it was the He family from Manbo group. Seeing Tae-wook, they commented, "Isn't that the loser from class number 3, Kang Tae-wook? Did he upset that family?" The others replied, "Who knows, let's see." On Hye Tae-yong's orders, his subordinates rushed at Tae-wook. The battle ensues as Tae-wook faces off against Hye Tae-yong's men. They attack from both directions, but Tae-wook easily parries their attacks. He grinned and said, Looks like you need a proper education." With a quick and powerful punch, he knocked him out. Tae-yong was stunned, watching his friends fall to the ground. He didn't understand how Tae-wook could become so strong in just a few days. Tae-wook taunted, "Next, don't you know how to apply pressure?" Tae-yong, who was trying to regain his composure, replied, "So you've chosen to fight the entire family." Tae-wook replied, "You're the one who started this nonsense. I did what you wanted, signed the engagement annulment, everything. So, what other problems do you have? I know your family will cancel this engagement eventually." The surrounding students whispered, "Engagement? Why would the family consider someone like Kang Tae-wook as a son-in-law?" Panicking, Tae-yong retorted, "Kang Tae-wook, watch your mouth. How dare you turn your obsession into family involvement? Do you have any proof?" Tae-wook retorted, "You have the proof yourself, but you don't have the guts to admit it." Tae-yong, more panicked than ever, shouted, "Don't give me that nonsense. It looks like you're going to force this story. Beat that bastard." Tae-wook was attacked again, but he easily defeated his attackers, knocking them down one by one. Tae-yong, who looked scared, muttered, "This isn't the Kang Tae-wook I know." Kang Tae-wook replied, "Why didn't I change? You didn't even check before trying to do this. How do you plan to explain this to the head of your family?" Full of anger, Tae-yong shouted, "I'll beat you," and lunged at Tae-wook. The fight escalated. Tae-wook threw punches, his fists blazing like fire. Tae-yong dodged, confused. How could a normal person like him master such martial arts techniques? Tae-wook's hard kick followed, but Tae-yong managed to dodge. Then, with a swift movement, Tae-wook landed a hard punch to Tae-yong's stomach, followed by a relentless kick. Tae-yong fell to the ground, writhing in pain. Lying there, Tae-yong wondered, how could a 4-star trainee like me be defenseless against a common punk? This doesn't make sense. Kang Tae-wook grabbed Tae-yong by the collar. Tae-yong stammered, "Hey, you're not Kang Tae-wook, right? Who are you?" Tae-wook pulled a paper from Tae-yong's shirt pocket and said, "Take a good look at who I am." Then he threw Tae-yong into a tree so hard that he coughed. The shocked Tae-yong muttered, "This can't be happening. I'm a 4-star." Tae-wook held up the paper he took from Tae-yong. "This is the engagement cancellation letter that the family forced me to sign. This is the proof that I was engaged to a young Jae." She tore the paper and let the pieces fall on top of Tae-yong. "Go and tell the head of your family. I'm the one who rejected this marriage." Boiling with anger, Tae-yong thought, "Kang Tae-wook, I will never let you get away with this." He pushed a friend who was trying to help him, growling, "Get out of the way, you idiot." The other students who heard the confrontation were dumbfounded by Tae-wook's statement. When Tae-wook arrived home, he opened the door and found his mother waiting. "I didn't expect to see my mom again," he said, overcome with emotion. His mom greeted him warmly, "Oh, Tae-wook, are you home yet? Go take a shower and eat." But then he noticed his injured hand and his face filled with panic. "What happened to your hand? Did you fight with someone again? I told you to be patient and bear with those who trouble you. Why didn't you listen to your mom?" Tae-wook answered firmly, "If I keep holding back, they will look down on us even more. Sometimes you have to push to earn respect." His mother sighed, "You are different from other children. I have nothing to my name. If something happens to you, how can I handle it? How can I face your father in heaven?" Tae-wook tried to reassure her, "I did what you told me to do. I was patient and restrained myself. But neither Chuvi-sung nor the family left me alone. People like them become more aggressive when they can't bully someone as much as they like." Her mother, feeling guilty, said, "I failed to protect you. You've had to face so much sorrow because of me." Tae-wook shook his head. "It's not your fault, Mom. I'm not the old Kang Tae-wook anymore. From now on, I'll make sure nothing can make us sad." His mother asked, "How are you going to do that? Even getting you into school is hard enough. I'm not asking for much, just that you stay out of trouble and graduate." Tae-wook replied, "Considering I'm my father's son, living a carefree life is a luxury for me. And you were attacked and defeated by someone in the rout, right?" His mother was surprised to hear Tae-wook's words and asked, "How did you know? Did anyone tell you?" Tae-wook replied, "I'm an adult now and I want to know the truth about father's death. Please tell me all the secrets you're hiding so I can take revenge." His mother explained, "Your father begged so earnestly that I couldn't say it with a clear conscience. Besides, we can't bear to see you go down the same path, no matter what happens to us. I can't lose you either, so don't think about revenge and focus on graduating school in peace. Tae-wook realized that whatever he said would not change his mother's mind. He decided it was better to calm his mother down and focus on improving his skills first. So he said, "Okay." His mother assured him, "It's not that I don't trust you, Tae-wook. I just don't want you to get into trouble. You're all I have." Tae-wook replied, "I understand, Mom. I'll work harder from now on so you won't worry about me so much." His mother said, "Okay, I believe in you." She held Tae-wook's injured hand and said, "This must hurt a lot." Tae-wook replied, "It's okay. I want to eat boiled potatoes. It's been a long time since you made them. Can you make it for me?" His mother, confused, said, "What do you mean it's been a long time? You just ate it yesterday. But if you really want it, I'll make it again." Tae-wook smiled and said, "Since I ate it yesterday, I'll eat it tomorrow. I like other side dishes too." His mother served the food, and they ate together. After eating, Tae-wook went to his room and relaxed on his bed, remembering the incident at school. He had managed to humiliate Tae-yong, who would probably seek revenge. Determined to be prepared, he started cultivating in his room. He cultivated into the night, thinking that he had survived today's danger, but with his current physical condition, he wouldn't last much longer. Tae-wook decided to build up his stamina by running with a stone on his back. He started running at night and ran until morning, determined to increase his endurance. After finishing his run, he took shelter under a tree, leaned against it, and continued training. Eventually, he mastered the basics. Tae-wook thought, "At this pace, I'll soon be ready for formal training." After completing his training, Tae-wook returned home, prepared himself, and went to school. At school, he was immediately approached by Jae-dong, who begged Tae-wook to teach him how to be as good as him. Tae-wook refuses, thinking that Jae-dong has no potential. Jae-dong protests, "How can you know without trying to teach me? Just because I got beaten up doesn't mean you can just shut up and cheer me on." Tae-wook finally relents and gives Jae-dong a task. After dinner, he must carry 10 kilograms dumbbells to the mountain behind the school for focus training. Jae-dong eagerly agreed, "All right, see you later." As night fell, they began practicing in the mountainous area. However, Jae-dong quickly felt tired and gave up. Tae-wook challenged him, "We haven't even started yet. Are you giving up already?" Panting, Jae-dong replied, "Yes, I was wrong. You just go alone." Tae-wook insisted, "If you want to get stronger, you have to handle at least this much. There is no result without effort. Decide for yourself whether you want to continue as before or try to stay on this path." Motivated by Tae-wook's words, Jae-dong found a new determination and started chasing after her again. They ran again and finally reached the top of the mountain. Tae-wook said, "I had a week of special training. I wonder how strong I am now." He looked for the tree that he always used to rest. Upon finding it, Tae-wook thanked the tree for giving him a place to lean and rest all these years, and promised not to use it again. He then sees a large rock and thinks that it would be a good place to test his strength. Tae-wook prepared his punch and hit the rock hard. The force of his punch made a big hole in the rock. Tae-wook commented, "It feels like my training speed has increased significantly in this life. With this rate of growth, I can start my official training." Jae-dong was surprised to see that Tae-wook's punch could make a hole in the rock. As Tae-wook continued cultivating, Jae-dong, still in disbelief, wondered, "Is this really Kang Tae-wook?" Tae-wook reflected that focusing on physical fitness was the best way to improve his stats, and if he devoted time to medical arts training, he would regain his old self. Although his physical condition had just crossed the threshold of the 1-star level, his abilities were at the 2-star level. He thought the He family wouldn't send an elite member to settle a fight in the schoolyard, right? Curious, Jae-dong asked, "Your body just emitted light. Do you know the crazy secret of this mountain?" Tae-wook immediately dismissed him. "What superstition are you talking about? Let's go back down." They went down the mountain and returned home. The next day, while eating with his mother, he said, "I have to work today, so please finish your homework. I'll wash the dishes later, just leave it." Tae-wook asked his mother to stop working as a maid and said, "I'll work twice as hard from now on, so you don't have to work anymore." His mother replied, "You don't have to worry about money. You should focus on studying." Tae-wook agreed, "Okay, Mom." His mother then went to work. After his mother left, Tae-wook went straight to his room and looked for the hidden items. As he rummaged through the drawers, he exclaimed, "I found it." Tae-wook found a box in a drawer and opened it. Inside, he found a piece of paper and a martial arts book. With a happy expression, he said, "Good, this is enough." With this secret art guide, I can catch the real culprit who killed my father. A few hours later, his mother returned home and saw that the dishes had been washed. She went to Tawook's room and saw him studying. Smiling to herself, she thought, "Honey, it looks like our Tawook has really grown up. He's becoming the person you want him to be." Leaving him to study, his mother left. Tawook, feeling anxious, realized that there might be people who would approach him, so he had to be careful and improve his skills. Later, Tawook went to Kyungpoon Gym. Upon entering, he called out, "Is anyone here?" A man wearing a martial arts outfit appeared, surprised to see Tawook. "Wait, you? Aren't you Tawook? How did you know about this place?" Tawook approached the man and said, "Sir, you remember me, right?" Touched, the man replied, "Of course I remember you. You've grown a lot." Tawook nodded, "Yes, you were close to my father, and used to buy me snacks when I was little." The man smiled, "Right. And what happened to your father? Is your mom okay?" Tawook replied, "She's fine. Sir, I actually came today to ask you something about my father." With a suspicious look, the man said, "Your father? I don't know much. But first, I'll get you something to drink. Sit down." Tawook thought, "It seems like he knows a lot of things but is reluctant to tell me. Maybe she had a bad experience too." Shortly after, a group of men wearing martial arts attire barged in, shouting, "Where is Instructor Bang? Come out." They turned to Tawook and ordered, "Hey, call Instructor Bang." Tawook was surprised and thought, "Since when did teacher change his last name? I remembered his last name was Gu." He replied, "Who are you to call someone an ass?" The man who ordered Tawook earlier sneered, "Oh, look at this guy. He has an attitude. Hey, donkey, is there another kid here besides you?" Just then, Instructor Bang, who had gone to get a drink, returned. In a frightened tone, he said, "Gee's big brother. Why did you come to visit? The number of students has been decreasing lately, so the situation is unfavorable. Can you wait a few more days?" The man replied, "Well, if you don't have any money, I guess you can't help it." He then ordered his friends to destroy the place. Instructor Bang pleaded, "Please, don't do this. I promise I'll get the money if you give me one more week." The man retorted, "You should have gotten the money before asking for more time," and kicked Instructor Bang's leg, making him fall down in pain. Tawook approached Instructor Bang and asked, "Teacher, are you okay?" Instructor Bang replied, "Tawook, no, I mean, who are you to interfere in other people's business? Stop being a bully and leave me alone." Ignoring this, Tawook confronted the man, "What are you doing meddling in other people's business?" With a smug face, the man replied, "She told you to leave, you jerk." Tawook quickly strangled the man and pushed him against the wall. The man, who was visibly in pain and sweating, struggled to release his grip. Instructor Bang, who was surprised by Tawook's speed, thought, "That's not a speed that a normal human can achieve. Don't tell me, Tawook." As Tawook tightened his grip, he said, "For your sake, stay still. If you struggle, you might break your neck." The man, looking desperate, pleaded, "Let me go right now." Tawook replied, "And if I refuse? You're the one who started this nonsense." Instructor Bang approached and pleaded, "Tawook, let him go and let them go. If we'd hurt the young Hwajin members, we might not be able to bear the consequences." Tawook smiled and said, "Repercussions. Even if they bring a truckload of bastards like this, I won't be afraid." The man ordered his friends to attack, and they rushed towards Tawook. Instructor Bang looks panicked, but Tawook tries to calm him down. Tawook then throws the man to one of his friends. When the other two attacked, Tawook easily thwarted their attempts and threw them away. Tawook taunted, "Calling you martial artists is embarrassing. Is this the extent of your abilities?" He then proceeded to beat up the remaining attackers, easily defeating the group. The man who was strangled earlier gasped, "Who are you? Do you think you can get away with it? Our chief will hunt you down." Hearing such threats, Tawook replied, "Since I'm the one who hit you all, don't bother venting your anger at Kyungpoon Gym. Just come to my school, Gwangwi High School. If you say Chu Vi-sung's name, everyone will know who you're talking about." The man replied, "Chu Vi-sung. I'll remember that name. You'll regret it. Just wait." Holding up his middle finger, Tawook said, "What a hot atmosphere. I'll be waiting for you at school, so you better come." The man and his group left immediately. Instructor Bang asked Tawook why he had to provoke them instead of following his earlier request. Tawook replied, "Why hold back for a hick who hasn't even built his own territory yet?" Surprised, Instructor Bang asked, "How did you know?" "Do you know about training? Don't tell me you heard it from your father." Tae-wook explained that his father never told him about it. He came to ask Instructor Bang about his father's death. Instructor Bang and his father were very close, almost like blood brothers. Instructor Bang replied, "Don't ask about your father. I don't know anything, and coming here just to ask about it is pointless." Tae-wook continued, "Why did you change your last name and become an instructor at a martial arts gym? It must have something to do with my father's death. Did you choose this because you knew you couldn't face the power that took my father's life?" With his back to Tae-wook, Instructor Bang said flatly, "I don't know what you're talking about. It's time for the students to come. Go." Disappointed, Tae-wook said, "If this is something you don't want to discuss, let's just say this conversation never happened." Instructor Bang suggested, "How about you continue to live as you are and pretend that you don't know anything?" Tae-wook replied, "My heart is filled with anger when I think of how my father was killed. Teacher, you may not want to get involved, but I will never be able to let go of these feelings." Tae-wook then bowed respectfully to Instructor Bang and said, "Take care." Instructor Bang, who felt sorry for Tae-wook, tried to say something but was stopped when Tae-wook turned and left. Instructor Bang muttered to himself, "Tae-wook, I know it's disappointing, but what can I do? If your father were alive, he wouldn't want you involved in this fight." Instructor Bang went into a room, took out a box from his drawer and sighed, "Although I want to live quietly, it seems like the people around me won't let me settle down." Meanwhile, as Tae-wook walked, he thought, "It seems like the conspiracy surrounding my father's death is bigger than I previously thought. At my current rate, even if I find the culprit, it will be difficult to take revenge." Suddenly, Tae-wook stopped walking and said, "Ah, right, there's Old Man Kwok," while recalling an incident from his past. Tae-wook remembered being bullied by his friends, who dunked him in a pool of water while laughing at his plight. Suddenly, an old man appeared and shouted, "You brats, you'll beat someone up if you keep this up." The old man tried to save Tae-wook, but the bullies ignored him and told him not to interfere. The old man retorted, "It seems like this schoolboy can't speak properly. You should behave better while this old man still has manners." Long story short, the old man beat up the bullies and hung them upside down on a tree. He approached Tae-wook and asked, "Are you all right, student? I'll teach you martial arts, so from now on, don't just sit back and take it." Feeling sorry for Tae-wook, the old man taught him a few moves and introduced him to the path of martial arts. Later, the old man, unable to withstand Supreme's power, tried to make a breakthrough but failed and lost his life. This was because he was only practicing medicine. Now that Tae-wook has returned to the past, he plans to find the old man again. He went to the place where he had met the old man before. After walking around the area for a while, Tae-wook said, "I thought he was around here, but why didn't I see him?" Suddenly, an old man appeared from behind and said, "Wait a minute, you seem to be circling around. Are you perhaps looking for me?" Tae-wook immediately turned around, his face beaming with excitement. "Old man, you're Teacher Kwok, right?" Master Kwok looked confused and asked, "Do you know me?" Smiling, Tae-wook thought, "Of course I know you. You're the best teacher I've ever had in my entire life. Other than my family, you are the person I value the most." He then answered the old man, "Yes, I was asked to come here by someone else to find you and help you." The old man asked, "And who was the person who asked you?" Tae-wook replied, "An old friend. I was asked to help you in the upcoming challenge to obtain a 12-star domain." Teacher Kwok said, "Do I have a friend like that? But can you help me with your skills?" Tae-wook thought, "Of course. Even in the past, when trying to make this breakthrough, I was by your side." He then assured the old man, "That's impossible. If I had ulterior motives, I'd rather die by lightning. After all, it only takes a little effort for you to defeat a snot-nosed kid like me, right?" The old man replied, "Right. It won't be easy to try to attack me quickly. Besides, what's your name?" Before Tae-wook could answer, Master Kwok suddenly felt a sharp pain and fell to the ground. Tae-wook immediately rushed to his aid, saying, "Let me borrow and use your needle." He took the needle kit from the old man's pocket. Teacher Kwok shouted, "What are you doing?" Teacher Kwok, sweating and in great pain, asked, "What are you going to do?" Tae-wook explained, "As you know, those trained in medicine must endure trials. I don't intend to hurt you, old man, so please trust me." Master Kwok replied, "I am but a wandering practitioner without friends. Your timely presence to help me does seem suspicious." Tae-wook continued, "If you continue like this, your energy will twist and explode. And if I tell you who I really am, you will find it very hard to believe." With a serious face, Tae-wook said, "I'll start now." Teacher Kwok asked, "You're not a shaman, right?" Tae-wook did not answer the question and went straight into acupuncture. Teacher Kwok found something strange about Ta-wook's method and asked, "Who taught you the art of medicine?" Tae-wook replied, "If I said I learned it from you, would you believe me?" Teacher Kwok said, "It seems unlikely." Tae-wook replied, "However, since I do not intend to harm you, please start gathering your energy. I will protect you from outside threats." Master Kwok thought that Ta-wook's ability was quite good and that his acupuncture style was similar to his. He said, "This time, I will take a risk for you." Tae-wook, smiling, replied, "Let's begin. The lightning will gather soon." Master Kwok immediately began to cultivate to gather his energy. Tae-wook looked up at the sky and said silently, "If I protect you, nothing will happen. Please do your best." The sky darkened, lightning appeared, and struck Master Kwok. But because Ta-wook protected him with his acupuncture method, Ta-wook ended up with a deep wound. Ta-wook thought, "It seems like this ordeal is harder than my last life." He was relieved that he managed to pass on time. After a while, the exam was finally over. Ta-wook asked, "How do you feel, Teacher Kwok?" Teacher Kwok replied, "Thank you, I passed this exam well. If I continue like this, I can break the barrier in 2 days." Ta-wook smiled and said, "That's very lucky. Passing the exam without getting hurt is indeed lucky. However, if you move to another dimension, it is very important to practice martial arts at the same time. This will allow you to overcome future exams more easily." Teacher Kwok asked, "You're advising me to practice medicine and martial arts?" Tae-wook confirmed, "Yes, exactly." Teacher Kwok expressed doubt, "Do you really understand the challenges of pursuing both?" Tae-wook explained that he understood and emphasized, "If you neglect the basics of martial arts, you will struggle in future exams. Please trust me on this." While gripping Ta-wook's wrist, Master Kwok said that Ta-wook, in the one-star realm, spoke with confidence. However, sensing no ill will, Master Kwok decided to believe him. Master Kwok then transferred his energy to Ta-wook as a token of gratitude for Ta-wook's previous help. Ta-wook gratefully accepted it, saying, "I accept your help once again," and thanked Master Kwok. Master Kwok encouraged Tae-wook to circulate the energy he had received. Tae-wook managed to increase his realm by 2 levels. Realizing that training in both disciplines resulted in more frequent breakthroughs. Expressing his respect, Tae-wook asked permission to call Master Kwok his mentor and become his disciple. Master Kwok mused, "I will soon cross the line, so I may not be able to impart much wisdom." Tae-wook acknowledged the knowledge he had gained and thanked him. Teacher Kwok concluded, "I did not fully understand your words. Since I have to leave now, let us say goodbye here. If it is fated, we will meet again." Tae-wook assured him, "I'm sure we will meet. I'll be waiting." Night falls and Ta-wook, who feels he has gotten more than he bargained for, rushes home, knowing his mother will be waiting. However, his plans are interrupted by a piercing scream that sounds all too familiar, Choi Jae-yeon's voice. It turns out to be Choi Jae-yeon, who looks injured with torn clothes, being harassed by 2 men. Although she asked them to stay away, they reveled in her distress. Offering money as a desperate plea, Choi Jae-yeon got a horrifying response. "You think we're doing this for money?" Emerging from the shadows, Ta-wook intervened, his expression tinged with anger. "What are you guys doing?" he demanded. The 2 men, taken aback, retorted, "Who are you? Stop interfering and leave." Ignoring their protests, Ta-wook quickly immobilized one of the men, knocking out his teeth with a kick. He then proceeded to choke the other, quickly followed by delivering punishing blows to both attackers. Begging for mercy, they pleaded for leniency. Tae-wook, taking the man's shirt, confused them with his unexpected action. After quickly neutralizing the attackers and ensuring they were detained, Tae-wook immediately notifies the authorities, mentioning the nature of the perpetrators and requesting that they be removed from the scene immediately. Turning his attention to Choi Jae-yeon, Ta-wook expressed his concern. "Can you stand up? Are you okay?" he asked, his voice filled with genuine concern. Gratefully, Choi Jae-yeon thanked him for his intervention, recognizing his timely help. Realizing the torn condition of her clothes, Ta-wook feels a blush creeping up his cheeks as he offers her his jacket to protect her from greater embarrassment. Choi Jae-yeon accepts the offer with gratitude and voices her appreciation. However, she mentions the possibility of spraining her ankle, prompting Ta-wook to lend a hand. Shyly, he encourages her to get up, assuring her of his strength. Despite their efforts, Choi Jae-yeon falters as she tries to walk, showing doubt in her abilities. Tae-wook, noticing her discomfort, gently reassures her, urging her to endure the pain as he tries to provide first aid. Encouraging her to test her ankle again, Tae-wook watches with relief as Choi Jae-yeon manages to take a few steps without pain. Her smile of gratitude warms his heart as she compliments his thoughtfulness. Relieved to see his phone back, Tae-wook suggests they leave the location. However, a little shyly, Choi Jae-yeon asks for Tae-wook's company to the city, voicing her anxiety to walk alone. Reassuring her, Tae-wook readily agrees, accompanying her on their journey. On the way, they pass by a crowded food bazaar, where Choi Jae-yeon forces Tae-wook to try the delicious satay. Although touched by her kindness, Tae-wook refuses, remembering his ordeal and her concern for his health. Despite Tae-wook's refusal, Choi Jae-yeon insists, expressing her desire to repay him and asking for a favor. Sitting at a nearby restaurant, Choi Jae-yeon broaches the topic of Chu Hee-sung's past bullying, starting an honest conversation between them. Tae-wook nods in agreement as Choi Jae-yeon reflects on the discomfort of Chu Hee-sung's past bullying, expressing her confidence in Tae-wook's ability to prevent further abuse. However, Tae-wook changes the subject, recalling Choi Jae-yeon's earlier remark about the pending request. "Didn't you mention anything else you wanted to discuss?" he asked. Choi Jae-yeon changes the subject, asking Tae-wook for a guarantee of confidentiality regarding the day's events. Without hesitation, Tae-wook assures her, promising to keep their meeting a secret. Grateful for his understanding, Choi Jae-yeon suggests they eat soon, and comments on the unappetizing nature of the cold lamb satay. Sitting together, they soon enjoy the savory dish. Halfway through the meal, Choi Jae-yeon broaches a sensitive topic, asking about the alleged engagement arranged by the family. Sensing her discomfort, Tae-wook gives an honest answer, confirming the agreement. Recalling fond memories of childhood dreams shared with Yeon-jae, Tae-wook's expression softens. Their aspirations to grow old together and the promises made while facing Yeon-jae's illness flood his mind. He recounts their solemn agreement, reflecting Yeon-jae's unwavering trust despite her physical weakness. As Choi Jae-yeon comments on the depth of his memory, Tae-wook recognizes the importance of their shared experiences in shaping his views. Their conversation highlights the complexity of their intertwined fates, underscoring the challenges faced by Yeon-jae in navigating family expectations. Despite the uncertainty, Tae-wook remains steadfast in his commitment to Yeon-jae and Choi Jae-yeon. Meanwhile, inside the family residence, Yeon-jae engages in a heated conversation with his father. "Father, how could you suddenly cancel my engagement?" he exclaimed, his tone filled with disappointment. Expressing her concern for Tae-wook, she added, "It was an insult to Tae-wook Abba." In response, his father dismissed Tae-wook's concerns and framed the decision as one made for Yeon-jae's benefit. "Are you confronting your father because of an insignificant person?" "This decision was made for your sake," Tae-wook retorted, his voice firm. Refusing to accept his father's explanation, Yeon-jae denounced the decision as a manipulative tactic, aimed at increasing the family's influence without his consent. "It doesn't make sense. It's all a ploy to improve my marriage without my input to build the family's influence," she asserted with obvious frustration. Her defiance was met with her father's anger, who slapped her, silencing her protests with an order to stop talking. Devastated, Yeon-jae declares her determination to keep her engagement to Tae-wook. "I have no intention of canceling my engagement with Tae-wook Abba. I will explain this to him," she stated, her resolve unshakable. Reluctantly, she walked out of the room, leaving her father's rebuke echoing behind her. "Hey, where do you think you're going?" she shouted after him, her disapproval echoing throughout the hallway. Tae-wook's father, visibly agitated, pounded on his desk, shouting, "Kang Tae-wook." The scene moves to the athletic field of Gwangwi High School, where Tae-wook confronts Chu Hee-sung and his crew. Observing the confrontation, Choi Jae-yeon exclaimed again, "Why is he still provoking Tae-wook?" Realizing their approach, Tae-wook challenged, "What is this? Was the last fight enough for you?" Chu Hee-sung insisted, "One incident won't solve this problem. Let's try a different approach." Curious, Tae-wook asked, "What do you have in mind?" Chu Hee-sung issued a challenge, "If you beat me in any match on the athletic field, I'll leave you alone." Unsatisfied, Tae-wook upped the ante, "That's not enough. If I win, you have to kneel and bow to me every time we meet. Agreed?" Angrily, Chu Hee-sung replied, "Okay. And you have to call me Big Brother in front of all the students." Tae-wook agreed, while warning, "Be prepared to eat poop." With that, Chu Hee-sung and his group left. Worried about Tae-wook, Choi Jae-yeon warned. He's skilled in physical activities. Will you be okay? Jae-dong assured her, just wait and see. Tae-wook is not someone who loses easily. Despite Jae-dong's confidence, Choi Jae-yeon could not shake off her worries and said, well, that's reassuring, but inside the school, Lee Yeon-jae, the top bully in the school, observed Tae-wook on the field. Curious, his friend said, that's Tae-wook. They say he's good at fighting. Lee Yeon-jae pondered, is that so? Now I'm curious to see how good he really is. The match between Kang Tae-wook and Choo Hee-sung began, with anticipation thick in the air. Choo Hee-sung, full of confidence, tried to intimidate Tae-wook, boasting, I excel in the 3,000-meter run. If you want to challenge me, now is your chance. Undaunted, Tae-wook replied, don't be so confident. I'll give you a head start, just to make it interesting. With arrogance dripping from his words, Choo Hee-sung smirked, you won't regret it later, right? As the referee signaled for the start, the other students rushed off, but Tae-wook and Choo Hee-sung remained rooted to the spot. Tae-wook told Choo Hee-sung to start first. Choo Hee-sung, overcome with emotion, muttered, you're arrogant to the end, before hurrying off. After completing one lap, Choo Hee-sung, panting and sweating, passed Tae-wook, taunting, get ready to call me big brother. However, before he could finish, Tae-wook darted forward, surprising Choo Hee-sung with his speed. Jae-dong, who was running nearby, commended to Choo Hee-sung, still underestimating Tae-wook. You're done. As Tae-wook reached the finish line, he calmly timed Choo Hee-sung. After finishing, Choo Hee-sung, panting and drenched in sweat, asked, are you sure you didn't cheat? The teachers supervising the race reassured them, stating, we have video evidence from start to finish. No need to worry about cheating. This is really amazing. I've never seen a student run this fast in all my years of teaching. Still in disbelief, Choo Hee-sung muttered, impossible. After emerging victorious, Tae-wook confronted Choo Hee-sung and asked, so, do you want to run again? Angry, Choo Hee-sung accused Tae-wook of playing games, to which Tae-wook firmly replied, that's irrelevant. A promise is a promise. Every time you see me, you must kneel and bow. Understand? However, Choo Hee-sung refuses to honor their agreement, stating, I don't care. Undeterred, Tae-wook said, you talk big but can't keep your word. Need to be hit again for you to learn. With vengeance burning in his heart, Choo Hee-sung vowed, just you wait, Kang Tae-wook. The next day in the school hallway, Jae-dong warns Tae-wook about Choo Hee-sung's retaliation. He mentions the gang members lurking outside for revenge. Tae-wook, undaunted, dismisses the threat, saying, why should I avoid him? I don't care about pathetic people. Jae-dong insists that these gang members are formidable opponents, leading Tae-wook to confidently reply, no big deal. Fearing for Tae-wook's safety, Jae-dong proposes to accompany him after school as protection. Tae-wook accepts, expressing his gratitude even though Jae-dong reproaches himself for only being a punching bag assistant. Caught in a moment of reflection, Tae-wook's expression darkens as he ponders the meaning of friendship and trust. Jae-dong, sensing Tae-wook's inner turmoil, asked about his troubled thoughts. Quickly returning to his carefree demeanor, Tae-wook suggested going to the store for ice cream. As they walked back, they were confronted by a group of thugs similar to the ones Jae-dong had mentioned earlier. The thugs asked, are you Kang Tae-wook? As the thugs closed in on them, Jae-dong observed the growing tension and turned to Tae-wook. His voice was mixed with concern. It looks like there are about 30 people. What's our plan? Without waiting for the thugs to address him, Tae-wook, with a nonchalant attitude and a lollipop in hand, calmly replied, yes, I'm Kang Tae-wook. So did Choo Hee-sung send you all? The thugs who were annoyed with Tae-wook's attitude sneered, looks like this spoiled brat has some nerve. It doesn't matter who sent us. You won't be free after today. Remember that. With a dismissive wave of his hand, their leader ordered, what are you waiting for? Attack him. Seizing the opportunity, Tae-wook casually bit into his lollipop and swung his hand, hitting one of the thugs right in the face. Ever heard of good manners? Don't bother people who are snacking, he scolded. Angered by Tae-wook's boldness, the thug he hit shouted orders, arrest him. The two thug cronies lunged at Tae-wook, but he was ready. Quickly opening his school jacket, he deftly used it as a shield, deflecting their attacks. However, a thug armed with a sharp weapon tries to sneak attack. Tae-wook reacted instantly, using his jacket to immobilize the thug's arm before quickly disarming and paralyzing him. Keep coming if you want to die, Tae-wook warned, further injuring the thug. The thug Tae-wook had hit earlier encouraged his comrades. There's only one person left. What are you waiting for? Beat him together. Undeterred, the thugs launched a coordinated attack on Tawook. However, in a show of skill and strength, Tawook quickly repelled each attacker, leaving their leader battered and defeated on the ground. Approaching the defeated man, Tawook delivered a decisive blow to his face. "I thought you were tough. Feeling tired now?" he taunted. The man, his face etched with fear, admitted, "My mistake. I underestimated you. Big brother, please forgive me. I won't bother you again." Tawook, unfazed, ordered them to leave. "Tell Chuvi-sung that he can't be talked to anymore," he said. The man nodded in agreement, clearly shaken. Trying to curry favor, the man pleaded, "Can we follow you, Hyun-nim? We may not be able to match your level, but we will fight for you. Whatever you need, we will do." Jae-dong, hearing this, was amazed by Tawook's newfound influence. "He already has followers after one fight," he said. Turning away, Tawook declined the offer. "Not interested," he replied curtly. Undeterred, the man identified as Kim Jong-hui pleaded with Tawook once more. "Accept us as your brothers. Remember my name. We will follow you," he pleaded desperately. Ignoring him, Tawook told Jae-dong, signaling him to leave. "Jae-dong, let's go," he said, asking Jae-dong to comply. Refusing to give in, the man held on to Jae-dong's leg, pleading for support. "Please, big brother, talk to big brother for us. I beg you," he pleaded. Watching from afar, Chubi-sung felt very frustrated. How can she be so strong? Has he been pretending to be weak all this time? He muttered, realizing the challenge that Tawook had given. Lee Yun-jae, the main bully of school, was looking for Chubi-sung, leaving him confused. "Why is Lee Yun-jae looking for me?" he asked himself. Chubi-sung explains Lee Yun-jae's background, describing him as coming from a family rumored to have extraordinary abilities, making him untouchable even by the principal. Curious, Chubi-sung asked, "What do you want?" Lee Yun-jae handed a message to Kang Tawook. Grinning, Chubi-sung said, "Looks like Kang Tawook is messing with the wrong person, huh? I'll make sure he gets it." Lee Yun-jae ignored Chubi-sung, encouraging him to suppress his resentment. "I'm just doing my duty, but if it helps destroy Kang Tawook, I'll swallow my pride," he thought with a heavy heart. Reluctantly, Chubi-sung agrees and heads straight for Kang Tawook. Meanwhile, Lee Yun-jae instructed his subordinates not to underestimate Tawook. He urges them to gather and punish him severely, even demanding evidence in the form of a scalp as a warning. Chubi-sung walked down the corridors of the school, looking for Kang Tawook. When he sees him in class, he immediately approaches him. Tawook, who noticed Chubi-sung's arrival, taunted, "Are you here to bow before me?" His classmates snickered at the joke, making Chubi-sung upset. "Who said you could laugh? Shut up," he snapped. Handing Lee Yun-jae a message, Chubi-sung advised, "Yun-jae Hyun-nim wants you to have this. I don't know what's in it, but it's probably best that you leave soon. You should buy insurance first because all the precious money your mother saved will be used for your hospital fees." Chubi-sung mourned, his tone filled with resentment. Undeterred, Tawook shot him a glare. "Are you done talking?" interrupted Tawook, his voice breaking the tension. Chubi-sung, retaining his courage, retorted, "Try to keep this courage in front of Yun-jae Hyun-nim." With that, he quickly exited the classroom. Choi Ji-yeon, who was surprised by the conversation, rushed to Tawook's side. "Why did Lee Yun-jae send you here and make such a fuss?" "I'll go and tell him to stop," she offered, with worry evident in her voice. However, Tawook stopped her, taking her hand gently. "Do you know Lee Yun-jae or not? What do you have to gain by trying to get close to him?" he asked, his expression serious. Blushing, Choi Ji-yeon confessed, "To be honest, he's already confessed his love to me. I don't know if he saw the two of us eating, but he asked if I rejected him because of you." Taking back the message, Tawook assured her, "It has nothing to do with that or you. I will handle this in my own way." Although worried, Choi Ji-yeon nodded in agreement.